All right, we now welcome on Coach Chris Duhon. He recently joined the Bryant staff. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, of course. Let's start this off. What led you to Bryant?
I've known Coach Grasso for 5, 6 years now. Just being on the recruiting trail, and he became real close with one of my best friends, Andy Borman, who's the head coach of the New York Rens EYBL team. So just getting to know him that way, and watching his teams play. I like what he brings to the table as a coach, and his mind for a coach and his work ethic is a few of the things that draw me to him. And this is a volunteer job, so it just obviously just gives me an opportunity to see how he works behind the scenes. Also gives me an opportunity to learn from another great basketball mind. And this is all just going to be a great learning experience for me.
So, getting a little bit into the actual season itself, in your eyes, what do you see as a successful season for Bryant basketball this year?
Being new here, I'm still getting used to all the players and the coaches as well. But the expectations here are high. Just seeing the talent level that we have, we have a legitimate chance to, win our conference and have an opportunity to make it to the tournament. So, as long as we continue to get closer as a team. Obviously injuries are a big deal, so hopefully we
Yeah.
stay healthy as well. But I think uh, our goal is to get to the tournament, and we have a legitimate shot of doing
What got you into coaching?
that. While I was playing, the uh, MBPA, which is the Players Association, they do a great job of getting guys to start thinking about your career after basketball. At an early
Mm-hmm.
time. I mean, you have the choice when you decide to take it more seriously uh, at any point. But every year from your rookie year until you're done playing, they're just giving you opportunities. So I did a coaching clinic that they do at the top 100 that they have every year. I think now it's in Virginia, or still, I think it's still in Virginia. Uh, and I just liked it. They did a great job of teaching us how to be coaches and what coaches go through on a daily basis. And I think I want to say this was my fifth year in the league. And then, after that weekend, or that long weekend, it's something I was really interested in, and just kind of something I continue to keep focus on even during my playing career.
So, obviously, you're coaching now. What is the end goal as a coach? Could you see yourself coaching as a high level D1, maybe an NBA coach? Like, what are you aiming towards? What's maybe the final end goal there?
Um, Man, that's a great question. I haven't even thought that far. Right now it's kind of still, kind of figuring it out.
Mhm.
I know I want to coach. It could be ending up that I like it, and end up being a high school coach, or
Mhm.
decide to do college. I definitely would like to, have a crack at doing it on the NBA, level as well. So right now is about just growing, and continue to become a better coach, because it's completely different than being a player,
Yeah.
and and then kind of see where it goes.
All right, let's get into your playing days a little bit. What made you choose Duke? Right choice, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, love the t-shirt. It was just the perfect fit for me, basketball wise and academically wise. Duke has a great uh network uh as far as, outside of basketball. And then when I got there, obviously the tough decision was if, Jay Will and I would be able to play together. Uh, and when we played pickup while I was there, it just kind of flowed. Like, it wasn't like he was trying to, because I was a recruit, try to, like, feed me and not play his game. I was able to learn and adjust the way that he played, and we just kind of fit naturally together, which, for me was kind of easier, because my AAU team, I played with Mo Williams, so who played professionally in the league for a long time. So he and I were able to coexist. And even with my high school team, like, I played mostly point, but I also played shooting guard as well. So I knew this was more of a challenge for him. And like I said, it kind of worked well. And At that time, I just felt like that was the best fit for me.
So speaking of Duke, and I'm a huge UNC guy, but I wanted to ask about the UNC Duke rivalry. Can you just talk a little bit about the preparation for those games? Did you get a little extra juiced up, and then maybe your favorite moment from the rivalry while you're at Duke?
Yeah.
Pretty
I
easy
mean,
one.
the preparation is actually still the same. Coach K, I know it's kind of cliche, but he does just prepare for every game, the same way. The difference is you just feel the energy, just in the streets, because
Yeah.
everybody's either Duke or Carolina. The students, you can feel it from the students. You go to the store, someone's like, "Oh, I'm a Carolina fan," or like, so that's a lot where you feel the energy. Um, and then it was just fun, man. I mean, usually those teams are good. Uh, both teams look pretty good, and actually, it really doesn't matter because it's about pride, and so we've always had great games, and they're always fun. I mean, I think the fans take it more on a serious level
Yeah.
than the players, because a lot of us as players, we played on the high school level and eventually play on the next level. So we've always had respect and uh, for one another. But when those games come, we definitely want to strap it up because it's for bragging rights. We all
Yeah.
got our hair cut at the same place. So there's a UNC barber and there's a Duke barber. So we got to make sure that our barber has something to talk about for the rest of the year.
How fun were those Duke Maryland games?
And they were great. Like in my first 2 years, those were our rivals. Even
Mhm.
though Carolina, uh, they were good the first year, my freshman year. It kind of was a down year my sophomore year, and then the third year when Coach Williams got there with Raymond Felton and McCants and all those. That's kind of when they kind of. But those first 2 years with Maryland, man. I mean, with Blake and Dixon and Terrence Morris and Lonnie Baxter, Mouton, those guys. I mean, those were wars, and they were trying to knock us off the pedestal. We were trying to, remain as kings of the ACC, and we had a lot of instant classics, and those 2 years, those the games where you knew coming in, you gotta tie your shoes a little bit tighter, get the tape around your ankle a little bit tighter because it was going to be physical and it was going to be a 40-minute battle.
So your first year at Duke, you guys made a deep tournament run and eventually won the championship that year. Can you talk about that team a little bit? What was it like in the locker room around those guys and ultimately achieving your end goal of winning the NCAA tournament?
I mean, that team, from, you know, preseason, that was our goal. Like we knew we had the talent to do it. The main thing for us was just, becoming a team, becoming a complete team, being able to hold everyone accountable, uh, knowing that we have to play at a high level because we're going to get everyone's best shot, throughout the year. And that year, we just continued to grow throughout the year, had a couple of stumbling blocks, and then there was just a strong belief in this team. Like there was like nothing, any setbacks that we would come across, we just knew that we would be able to get over the top. And one of the main things was Carlos Boozer broke his foot against Maryland the second time we played them, and that kind of brought in a little doubt for us as a team. But then Coach K came with a amazing game plan after that. We bought into what he was teaching and how he wanted to coach, and we just took off for that. And I think after we lost to Maryland, I think it was senior night. Shane Battier and Nate James is senior night. We played Carolina, who I think they're top 5 in the country at that point in time, and we ended up beating them pretty good. And I think after that game, that's kind of when we knew that hey, we can do this thing, and we did. And then went to the ACC tournament, had another tough game with Maryland in the semifinals, and then smacked Carolina again. I have to throw that in for the Carolina guy.
Okay.
Smacked them again for the ACC championship, and then it was we were able to get Boozer back at the right time, and uh, what helped with that is that we had guys like Matt Christensen and Casey Sanders and Reggie Love and Nick Korvac, guys got minutes and did a great job for us, that we were a lot deeper than we were, before Boozer's injury. So those guys were playing with confidence, and, coach was able to do a lot of different things because we had more guys playing with confidence. And, our senior leadership with Shane and Nate and our two walk-ons, JD and Callback, we were just a really, really close team.
Give us your best Coach K story.
Oh man, I mean, so many. I mean, one that stuck out to me that kind of made me understand how great of a coach he is. Was actually the Maryland game my freshman year, when we came back, from 10 down, and you know, coach normally doesn't say before the game like we're gonna win this game. You know what I mean? Like, but for whatever reason, like his pregame speech, like he was emphasizing that, like we're gonna win this game. And playing at Maryland at Coalfield House, and if anyone has never played there, when it's rocking, it's a pretty intense scene. And we just struggled. It was just one of those games where everything was clicking. We found ways to kind of stay in the game, but every time we made a run and it kind of felt like we were making one of those normal Duke runs, they would answer. They would answer and go on a run on their own. And I remember we had the timeout before everything kind of got crazy. And, he was still preaching it. He was still preaching like, hey, we're going to win this game. Now, I'm a freshman at the time. So I don't have the belief system that, those guys who's already been to battle with them already has. I'm still learning and growing in that aspect. And, in my head, I'm like, Coach, what the hell are you talking about? Like, we getting our ass whooped. Like, they ain't no way we're coming back. But, I also remember in the huddle looking at, Shane and looking at Nate. And I mean, they're just lasered on coach, like with this ultimate belief of like what he's saying. And, we ended up doing it. And like that kind of changed, my perspective of like, all right, I got to go all in and not question this guy because he definitely knows what he's talking about.
Did his retirement surprise you, or maybe did you see it coming, or did you think it was about time for him to retire after this year, obviously? But
you can kind of sense that it was coming. You didn't know when that it was going to happen, but he was going to do it on his own terms,
yeah,
and then make sure that he was comfortable with where the program was going to be led. After he left. And I mean, I think Shire's an amazing hire. He's already showing what he can do recruiting wise, with the recruits that they're bringing in. So, I mean, it was you just didn't know when. You didn't know when and how he was going to do it. But, we all kind of sensed that within the next, 2 or 3 years that, this was going to be a possibility.
Is it true Coach K dyes his hair?
You know what? Gosh. I don't know, but it is very amazing that it's still,
because black. there might be a little grays there, and then the Carolina game, it's jet black.
Yeah.
Facts.
We'll have to do some research on that. I don't know.
Oh gosh.
So, is that 2001 Duke team the best of all time?
Yeah, man. We competitive, so we're gonna compete. Are you talking about with Duke or in history?
In his college basketball.
Oh gosh.
Oh man. I mean, that's tough. I mean, it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I love Boozer, but I don't think there's anything he's doing or Shane, with Kareem. So that's tough. But in Duke history, I think we're up there. Like I think, I would want to see what happened. We played our 91 team or, our 92 team. And then, one of the arguably most best teams in Duke is the 98 team that didn't win, lost in the championship to UConn. I mean, that team was stacked and loaded. But we're up there. I like our chances.
Was it difficult after winning your freshman year and then not winning after that? Was it hard each year? Just like, I want to get back to that, and just not ever really actually getting back to that.
Yeah. It just shows that you can't, just because once you win, and we had pretty much everyone back besides, Shane and Nate, but we brought in Daniel Ewing and Dante Jones. Each team is different. No matter, like, even if you have most of your core is there, each team is different. And we just fell short in a lot of different areas. Coming close as a team, leadership wise, everything. Each fell in the air. I thought my senior year we were really close to accomplish, or actually, I think we really accomplished that. We just fell short in the Final Four against the UConn team. We had a good lead late in the game, and we just wasn't able to sustain it. And they were able to make more winning plays than we did. But I thought that team was a team that really gelled together. Really trusted and believed in one another, and we just fell a little bit short at the end.
So transitioning a little bit from Duke to after 4 years at Duke, you decided you entered the draft, obviously. And then can you just talk about a little bit about maybe one player your second year in the league that kind of took you under their wing, or maybe you learned from the most your rookie or sophomore season in the NBA?
Yeah. So, I got drafted by Chicago, and, we were a really, really young team. We basically was kind of a college team. Coach Scott Skiles, was a tough, demanding coach, kind of a, Coach K like. And, you gotta remember, it was Kirk Heinrich's second year. We drafted Ben Gordon, myself, Lou Wall. They brought over Andres Nocioni from Argentina. Tyson Chandler, Eddie Curry are on the team, but they came out of high school. So, I'm older than both of them. So we was a very, very young team. And, but so we kind of learned together. We've had a couple of vets, Adrian Griffin, who's hopefully soon going to be a head coach in the NBA one day. He's assistant at Toronto. We had Othello Harrington, who was really good. Eric Piakowski, who's kind of a really good vet. Antonio Davis, from the Indiana Pacers. So, but in a way, they were kind of more big oriented. And so they kind of focused on Eddie and Tyson and in their growth. So, Kirk and I kind of learned together. We kind of did a lot of, things together, studied together, watched film together, work out together. And then with, Scott Skiles being a point guard, we were able to learn a lot from him. So, learning from Kirk and learning from Scott was kind of the help of my development there.
What was your welcome to the league moment?
Oh man. So for me, it had nothing to do with basketball. So, they do all these rookie, when you're a rookie, you have like rookie duties that you have to do. Each team is, not really hazing. It depends on the team. Like our team didn't really do hazing. So, basically what we had to do was bring donuts every day for every practice, which seems like it's not a big deal, but it had to be Krispy Kreme, and it was like 20 minutes away from the practice facility. But then, we would bring donuts, and literally not one donut is touched, like every day, like maybe one, like if someone is just, but like, so you're literally just buying these donuts and no one is like eating any of it. So, do it for practice, do it a couple of games. Now, a couple of guys of rookies are playing significant minutes. So we're like, man, nobody's eating these donuts. Like they're not even gonna notice. Like we just stopped doing it. And stopped doing it. No one said anything. And then we're going on our first West Coast trip. So the West Coast trip, we pretty much gone for 2 weeks. And so you get per diem, and this is like a big per diem because you're gone for 2 weeks. So like everyone's like excited, like there's a little extra cash in your pocket. And Antonio, I just remember like everybody got on the plane. Fred, our trainer, just handing out the envelopes to everyone. And AD was the last one on the plane, and he just walked in and boop, takes my envelope, takes Vin's, takes Lou's, takes all the rookies. Well, we're like, what do you? AD's big, so nobody's getting up and challenging him anyway. And we're like, what are you doing? Said, you guys didn't bring donuts. And I'm like, It's like $13,000 for not bringing donuts.
Oh my gosh.
So and then what made it worse is that he put it all in the middle of half court, and those guys shot for it.
Oh my
So
gosh,
that
you watch it.
yeah. So we had to watch someone take all our money. So that was kind of like my rookie
Oh,
moment
that's
for
rough.
me.
So, so getting back in like the actual playing a little bit from college to the NBA, what was the biggest transition for you on the court? Maybe like play style or game speed or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, mainly is game speed, and that's in every aspect, physically and mentally. I mean,
Mhm.
because the guys do a great job of preparing for each game, even though the games are quick. A lot of mostly everyone runs the same thing. They're just worded differently or they're disguised in a different way.
Mhm.
But just the game speed and the athleticism on the court was intense. Now, I felt I was a little bit more prepared because, at that time in the ACC, it was really, really tough. So we were playing against a lot of, great teams. It's not like, every time on the court, there were five guys that were, really, really good. So that kind of prepared me a little bit, but just, the speed, then the travel from one game to the next and then, the back to backs and, those are all type of adjustments that you have to make because it's like time management and then still being able to
Mhm.
prepare, still being able to get your rest, still being able to go out and perform. You played what 33, 34 games in college. Now you're playing 82.
Mhm.
And it's true that that rookie wall that everyone talks about is just true because your body, this is you're going from college, really don't know how to train for the NBA. And then, you go into this 82 game season and, your body just, at some point is just tired. And, it's tough to kind of recover because you're not getting, a Christmas break or something that you would normally get in college or something like that. So,
Mhm.
it was just a whole big learning experience. And, but, it's definitely a different level from NBA and college.
Biggest trash talker you dealt with in the league?
Oh man, uh, Gary Payton, like he's up there. Kevin
Oh man.
Garnett. Um, those would be
Is
yeah
there
the
one
two
people
most
wouldn't
sure.
suspect?
Is who?
Is there one people wouldn't suspect? Like a Steve Blake?
No, Steve was pretty much to himself. Wouldn't suspect. Uh, nah, it's I mean, and I mean, guys are different. Like, so, like,
Mhm.
I think most guys is that, like, if you start talking to them, then, they will yap back. When I think of trash talker, I think of people that just talking,
Yeah.
don't, no one needs to say anything to them. And, they're just talking. And those two guys that are the head of the list.
So talking about like trash talking and stuff, and I guess like officiating the games nowadays, what do you think is like, they've made all these changes to the rules and stuff like that. What do you think about all the new rule changes and maybe how they're calling fouls now and just the way the game has changed in, the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, it's changed all throughout, NBA history. So change was coming. That's why I think you always get these debate of errors and who's tougher and all
Mhm.
these other things. But this is where the game is going. Analytics has played a big part in, how you know, the style of basketball is being played. So the rules have to change as well, and especially if uh, most people rather see, 128 to 126 than,
Yeah.
82 to 79. You know what I mean? And as you can tell, I think I just read an article that the NBA's revenue is about to jump up again. So,
Yeah.
it's just that's what people want to see. So you gotta definitely change the rules for that. And then also the skill level has changed. Like, I'm not, a lot of these guys are have their own personal trainers or trainers when they're 10, 11 years old, so their skills are definitely better as far as being able to handle the ball, shoot the basketball, and do all these type of things, and you want to kind of put that on display for the world to see.
Did you have a singular favorite moment from your time in the league?
Singular favorite. Uh, oh man, I embraced it all. I enjoyed
Mhm.
it all. The good, the bad, the ugly. It was just a great time for me, especially it was a dream of mine to be able to play at that level. So, I just embraced it all.
You played for the Knicks for a couple of years. What was it like playing in Madison Square Garden? Is it that much better than every other arena, like people say?
Uh, I mean, it's different. Like, I experienced it at Duke. We played. I think we almost played like at least one game at Madison Square Garden every year, and Duke fans traveled. So I mean, we
Yeah.
were packing, and whoever we usually played someone big. So I think one year we played like Kentucky, and one year we played Texas, and their fan bases, they're going to travel as well. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's just as packed as any Knicks game. Or any Knicks
Here.
games I've been a part of. So, uh, but it is special. I mean, it's the East Coast LA, because you see the stars, and the people that are in front row, and the Knicks fans are very passionate. But they also want to be entertained. Like, when the
Mhm.
Knicks are not good and Kobe comes in town, they're coming to cheer on Kobe. So
Yeah.
it's kind of in a place for whoever is a performer to perform, and that's kind of, if their team is not doing well, they're looking for someone to entertain them. But it's definitely a special place, and um, it's really exciting when the crowd is really into it too. They really get loud.
Mhm.
You mentioned LA. You played for the Lakers that weird year with Nash and Kobe and all them. Honestly, just how weird was it?
It was tough. I mean, we started off with Mike Brown as the head coach, and who's a really defensive oriented guy. Um, and Uh, and then, with his coaching staff, he had Eddie Jordan, who was kind of his offensive guy. And, Eddie Jordan, had success in Washington, with Gilbert Arenas and Larry Hughes and that team. And, but they
Mhm.
ran Antoine Jameson, but they ran the Princeton offense. So it just didn't fit with the guys that we had. Like, Powell actually would be okay, obviously, because the triangle, kind of has some type of similarities to it.
Mhm.
Dwight, it was very new to him, because it was basically, he was just post up, we get you the ball, they double team, you kick it out, you got four guys that can shoot the three around it, basically.
Yeah.
And then, now and again with Nash, once he got to Dallas, the ball has been primarily in his hand, and he's been the primary decision maker at all times. So now you're putting him in an offense to where he has to make reads, he has to make cuts, but the ball is not as in his hand, so he's not making the decision. Um, it was just awkward for him. And then Kobe's Kobe. Like, if any play breaks down, he's like, just give me the ball, get out the way. And
Yeah.
so we were doing. So it was just a weird mix. And then obviously Mike got fired, and then brought in D'Antoni, which changes things a little bit, but still an adjustment for Powell and Dwight. Powell is good with the pick and roll as far as being able to catch it and make decisions, but he's not explosive to where when he rolls, you can throw him lobs. Or then he was starting to pop a lot, which now he's settling for threes when he's really really good at, out on the block or that 15 foot. And then Nash battled with injuries. Dwight battled with injuries. So it was just kind of a lot of, you know, internal things and external things, and we just wasn't able to get it together.
So if you had to choose during that season, what was your favorite Kobe Bryant story? We got to know.
I mean, there was a lot. I mean, one of yeah, I mean, he's just so for me, I can't remember the exact game it was. But we're coming off the plane. We're on the road. We played
Mhm.
in Staples the next day. It was a back to back, and when you get on the plane, like, you can get the sheets from all the scores and stats from everyone that's played throughout that on that day.
Yeah.
So you get the stat sheets, and we're kind of going through it, and I was sitting next to him at the time, and it was like, oh, LeBron gets another triple double. Like LeBron had a triple double, and he's like, oh, LeBron got a triple double, and I was like, shit, you ain't gonna never get one of them because your ass don't pass. And he starts laughing, and he was like, all right, I bet you $5,000 I get a triple double the next game.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like,
that's bad.
I'm like, all right, bet it. And sure enough, I think he was 1 assist and 1 rebound shy at halftime. And like, but every time he was doing it, he was just looking at me and just winking. And we talked after the game. He was just like, and it just goes to what his mindset was. He was just like, if I wanted to, I can get a triple double every game. He was like, but my team needs me to score. Like, I want to take the hearts out of anyone that's guarding me and the other team knowing that they can't stop me. And that's just like they said, the mama mentality. That just was his mentality. Like he just wanted to go out, compete at the highest level, and make sure that that he was the best player on the court at all times.
Do you have a favorite Nash story from that season?
No, like I said, he was hurt pretty much all year. So he was always doing training stuff or, rehab stuff to get back healthy. So, I don't even know how many games total games he ended up playing, but I know it wasn't a lot. And a lot of stuff he was doing was a lot of rehab. So I didn't get really the opportunity to watch and pick his brain as much as I would have loved to.
Can you speak a little bit on, was there any like Kobe and Dwight Howard beef in the locker room or anything like that? Did Dwight get along with everybody? I don't know. I'm just curious about that.
There was definitely a little beef. I think it's more of like, again, the mentality of both guys. So I had the opportunity to play with Dwight in Orlando. And, Dwight is one of the best guys, there is. Like fun going, always joking, in a fun mood. Like, if you need something, he wouldn't hesitate to do it. Like, that's just his personality. Like, he wants to like have fun, to where Kobe's the complete opposite. I think there was a miscommunication with, when they traded for Dwight mindset was like, I'm about to be the face of the Lakers. Like, Kobe's run is about to end. And like, I'm gonna be that. And Kobe's like, nah, like, this is my shit. So I think that's where the initial headbutting started, because there was just, I think, a miscommunication of what direction we were going as an organization. And, and then Kobe, again, is not a guy that, he jokes around here and there, but like when it's time to work, like he's in work mode. And he felt it was his job to teach Dwight how to become a champion, basically, like the mindset, the work ethic, things like that. And I think at that time, Dwight wasn't willing to accept that type of teaching. But I would just say in the manner that Kobe did it.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair.
You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say he wasn't willing to accept, but the style that Kobe did it, is, you got to be ready for that.
Yeah,
that type of style. So I think there was just a lot of miscommunication of where the direction of the Lakers was going at that point.
All right, I just have one last question. When are we going to see Coach Duhon on the sidelines in Durham?
Man, shoot, probably for Coach K's last home game.
There we go.
But it won't be as a coach, though.
Yeah. Oh man, well, I think that's about all I had.
That's all I got.
I just want to say thanks a lot for coming on. That was a great interview. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. Thanks again for coming on, and all the best. And if there's anything we can do for you, let us know.
All right.
Thank you, sir.